Joining me right now on the phones, GOP political strategist and co-founder of MustReadTexas.com, Matt Mackowiak. Matt, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Chad. I'm doing great. Good morning.
I appreciate you coming on today. Let's talk about the GOP primary in light of what happened in Paris with the terrorist attacks. You now see a lot of articles out saying that, or asking the question, will the primary shift in tone towards foreign policy? If it does, well, number one, do you think it will? Number two, if it does, who do you think will seem stronger on the issue of foreign policy?
Yeah, it's obviously a very important question. I think I can think of a couple different things that I think are going to happen. First of all, yes, you're going to see more of a focus on national security and foreign policy. Just today, Marco Rubio is planning to give a different speech. He's now written a speech about foreign policy, national security in response to Paris. You also have Kasich and Jeb Bush giving speeches in the next 24 hours that have been scheduled since the attack. So all these candidates are going to be, pressured to talk about these issues and how they respond, how they defeat ISIS, what their strategy is over the next several days. So that's number one. You're going to see more of a focus there. And I think you're likely to see probably the U.S. senators in the race benefit. They're the ones that get briefed all the time, that have committee hearings, that sit on committees that have foreign policy, national security expertise. Governors have less ability to get really deep on those issues day to day. So that's number one. Number two, I think, is you're going to see, voters start paying more attention to the commander-in-chief part of running for president. Less about perhaps being the Republican nominee or, being right on every single issue. It's now going to be, are you credible enough to be commander-in-chief? And I think that probably hurts Trump and Carson. Carson was on Fox News Sunday yesterday, was really totally incoherent about the response to Paris. Chris Wallace asked him 3 times, who the first foreign leader is he would call to put a post-Paris ISIS effort together. He basically couldn't answer it. So, I think all the candidates are going to have to raise their game, and some of them are able to do that more easily than others. And then finally, I think there is going to be this question about Syrian refugees and whether we are going to continue to take them and what the administration in Capitol Hill's response to that is. You now have 4 states, including Texas, who've said they're not going to accept Syrian refugees. Texas was added to that list this morning. Michigan, Alabama, and Louisiana were added to the list yesterday. There's obviously very serious questions about that as it relates to vetting. And so I think those are the issues going forward. Again, I think it probably benefits Rubio, probably benefits Ted Cruz, certainly benefits someone like Lindsey Graham, who doesn't have a real path to nomination, but is very, very substantive on national security issues.
Visiting with Matt Mackowiak, and yeah, Matt, you brought up the breaking news that was out there statewide that Governor Abbott sent a letter this morning to President Obama saying no, Texas is closed to to Syrian refugees. When it comes to the state of Texas and the Syrian refugee deal, is this something, as far as could the president bypass Governor Abbott? Do you know how this works?
The short answer is yes. I don't. I think there's very real questions about the jurisdiction and the power that governors have with relation to this. And so, yes, this is a federal government issue, probably more so than it is a state issue. We have a system for reviewing refugee requests. It's not just from Syria; it's from anywhere in the world. I'm told it takes 18 to 24 months. I would maybe doubt that to some extent, but you already have something like just about 2,000 Syrian refugees who've come into the United States. Now, I've maybe learned in the last day or so that's because the war started back in March of 2011. So it does take some time. One of the problems is that you've had 2 of the top Obama national security officials admit that the databases for background checks for refugees that are from Syria simply don't exist. And so, saying you have a rigorous process in place and that you're going to conduct a background check when that really doesn't exist for Syria is a problem. And so I think you're going to see Republicans, not just governors, but I think in Congress too, say, let's suspend this entire program. Let's wait and see how this plays out. We can do other things on the humanitarian side, but this is a military and intelligence problem. right now, and we have to put American national security first.
Visiting with Matt Mackowiak, GOP political strategist, co-founder of mustreadtexas.com. Matt, before I let you go, I want to ask you about the Democrats. They held a debate over the weekend, which really nobody watched because it was on Saturday night, and people had better things to do on a Saturday night than watch the Democrats debate. I'm assuming that the Democrats don't want this to be an election about foreign policy. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Bernie Sanders' campaign was apparently very angry that the CBS debate shifted from being about, domestic issues to foreign policy in light of Paris. And, yeah, Bernie doesn't want to talk about those issues. There's no question. And Hillary, I think probably mine's a little bit less because she at least has a better knowledge base having been Secretary of State. But, of course, then it brings up all these very difficult questions for her to answer about the administration's, policy in Libya and, the complete failure to take ISIS seriously and how ISIS even got started with Obama pulling all our troops out of Iraq. So I don't necessarily think this is a benefit for any Democrat to go to these issues because I think the broad majority of the public believes the Obama foreign policy has been a mess and a disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, tell folks what they can find on mustreadtexas.com, not only today but throughout the week, stuff you're working on.
Yeah, just starting to post stories from this morning. You may have some breaking news with Steve King, a congressman from Iowa, hardline conservative, announcing his endorsement for the 2016 race here in just a few minutes. So I presume that may be Ted Cruz, and if so, we'll have that news. But we have all the 2016 news plus Governor Abbott's announcement posted at mustreadtexas.com. All
right, that'd be good news for Ted Cruz in Iowa for sure. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate your time today.
Take care.
Have a good one. That's Matt Mackowiak here on the Chad Hasty Show. And, Matt, with, sort of the two breaking news items that, Steve King may endorse Ted Cruz here pretty soon, but also that Governor Abbott this morning, I'm going to say after seeing our poll of the day question there, Jody, sent a letter to President Obama saying, no, Texas is closed to Syrian refugees.